Good afternoon. We'll still wait for others to join. Okay, we can begin. Others can join when they can join. Okay. So in the last session, what we have done?
Ma'am, we did a final keyword, instance, and a system class.
Okay. And interface, do you have any question? Anybody is having any question in what is an interface, how to create, why do we use interface, difference between abstract class and interface? These are important questions. Huh? They can be asked in the examination also, in interview point of view also. These are important questions. Then what do we use, which keyword do we use to use that interface? Can interface extend themselves or not? And if they extend themselves, then the subclass which one is implementing that interface, does that subclass has to provide implementation of all the superclass interfaces or not? These kind of questions are interview point of related questions. So if you have any questions in these questions that I'm speaking right now, you can let me know, I'll explain it to you again. I don't have any problem with that. No questions? Okay. Okay. Then today, okay, yes, we can begin with a new topic, a fresh topic for today. Let me share my screen first. Yes. So, can you tell me, how should I ask? Okay, what is an error? Can you tell me where have you seen errors in programming? What is an error in short? Can you define error? What is an error? Simple error. What do you mean by error? You have faced error so many times in the program. Some or the other way you are facing the error. Can you tell me what do you mean by error? Disruption in the program flow. Okay, correct. Yes, good, good. Yes. Anybody else? The way it's supposed to work. Okay, yes, correct. Rishabh, you're also right. Yes, okay. So we can say that, okay, yes, illegal operation, correct. Yes, you are right again. Good, good. So, uh, tell me, is this an error? I'm printing the value of variable I. It is already showing me a red line. Is it an error? Can you tell me what error will come over here?
Value is not assigned to I.
Yes, I is not yet initialized, right? There is no
Yes,
such
ma'am.
value to I. Yes, you are right. And still you are printing the variables value you want to see. There is no such value, so it is an error. Correct. So this is one type of error. Okay. What about this? Giving a statement, not finishing a statement properly. Right. It is again a compile time error, right? Yes. So do you see this compile time error? Again a compile time error, right? Variable I might not have been initialized, right? So it is already giving suggestions over here. That is okay. If you don't want to, use those suggestions again, it is not allowing you to compile. It is going to just show you the error that do you want to still run anyway? There is some error in the question in the program. Do you want to see? It is for compile with errors. We are not compiled properly. Do you still want to run it? Even if you run it, it is still going to show you the error itself at the runtime because your variable I might not have been initialized, right? Even if you forcefully run it, it is still going to show you this runtime exception. Okay. Coming to this point, these kind of errors that you are seeing here, which doesn't allow your code to compile. If you are writing the same thing, okay, I'm copying the same program. Okay, I am opening my notepad, I am pasting it over here. Okay, I am saving my file on the desktop. Okay, on the desktop, I am saving it. I am saving it as test.java itself. Okay, and when I come to my desktop, I open my this PowerShell window here. Okay, and we try to compile Java C. It is still loading. Yes, Java C test.java. Okay, we try to compile. If there is error in the code, it is not allowing me to generate any class files. See, the command prompt is very strict that way. Even though you ran, it is running perfectly fine in NetBeans, it is also showing the exception at runtime that variable I is not initialized. But it is possible with these editors. Okay, smart editors, it is definitely possible. But if you go ahead with the command prompt, it is not going to generate the class file at all. Until and unless you recorrect the program again. If you correct the program again, if you save it, if you recompile it, then and then only the class file gets generated, right? The command prompt is very strict that way. What does this means that whenever you are typing out a program, and if you have such thing known as syntax errors, okay, these are syntax errors, right? Because you are not, it is simply showing you that you cannot compile the file because I is not initialized, or even if you are missing a semicolon, it is not allowing you to compile the file, right? All these kind of errors, which are syntax errors, these are syntax errors. What other syntax errors could come is you are, leaving this if block, you are leaving the if block, it is telling me what kind of error this is. Okay, is it a syntax error or is it a logical error? Tell me this. Okay, I am showing you the example. Okay, I am showing you the example. If 1 is less than 2, then do something. Okay, if I intend to print high only when 1 is less than 2, whenever this condition is true, I only intend to print high. That's all I wanted to do. That all should the program should do. Otherwise, it should print hello. That is the logic of the program. That is what I wanted to get out of this program. Okay, I want to print high once this condition is true. Otherwise, it should print hello. When I'm running this file, not debugging, I'm just simply running this file. Okay, so it is printing both the things together. What kind of error is this? Is it a syntax error? Is it a logical error?
Logical error.
You are at logical error. Yes, you are correct. Very good. Yes. Yes, correct, Vasu. You are also right. Yes, correct. Because you are not intending, the program is not functioning according to what you are purposefully, what was the purpose, it is not serving that purpose. It is a logical error. Are you getting the difference is clear between syntax error and logical error? Both are different. Okay. Whenever you are not allowing, the program is not going to compile if you have syntax error, but it is again going to compile fine. It is going to run again fine in case of logical error. Okay. But still the program is running also. The program is running fine. Okay. I am telling the program is not terminating. Okay. See my words, hear my words very carefully. The program is not terminating. No, it is running very much fine. Okay. It is running very much fine. In that case, it is logical error. If your intention is not served, if your purpose is not served, it is logical error. One example, if I remember correctly, one example I would like to quote here. In 1999 or 1999 itself, I guess, yes, NASA actually planted this Martian spacecraft that, they have planted. They were, going to check the climatic condition on the Mars. It is known as Martian climatic something. Name is there for the spacecraft itself. What problem the spacecraft ran into was, they had metric, the metric unit that they have used. The NASA was intending to use American units of metric calculation, but instead of that in the software, they used English units in the calculation, and that made this spacecraft crash, and this the values were not recorded properly by the NASA. So those kind of errors, which it is running properly, the spacecraft went to Mars properly, it reached properly, it was calculating it properly, but here the values they were receiving were incorrect, and they thought that some problem is there with the planet itself. So they something happened, and they just either it crashed or I don't remember correctly, but it was the case in 1999. They bought it back over, I don't know, but metric unit difference, they didn't figure out that at runtime, and they sent it away, and then it happened. So what I am telling is, according to your intention, it is not working fine. Then it is nothing but a logical error. Otherwise, you are getting syntax errors, which you are normally getting whenever you are misplacing something like this or something. Okay. Are these two types of errors very much clear in your mind? Yes.
Ma'am, can we say that due to syntax error we get compile time error, and due to logical error we get runtime error?
Okay. I'll put one more thing here. See, whenever you are running this program, logically, what I intend to do, say for example, these people, this happened all the time to me also, to students also, they have seen this thing so many times. I'm giving the program that check whether the input number is prime or not. Okay. If you don't know the logic of it, you will intend to do it like this. If I module 2 equals 0, but no, this is check for even, right? It is not for, it is not for prime or not prime. Okay. The program is not working according to your intention. It is running already fine. Okay. I can take a variable and I can make it check whether it is prime or not. But the logic of it is incorrect. See, this has happened to you a lot of time. So many people, you have gone through this, right? You are intending to check whether the number is, prime or not, but you are dividing and just taking the even number out of it. No. So the output is correct. The output you are getting is there. There is no runtime error. See, even if I run this program, it is going to run fine, but the output or the outcome that you are receiving is not what you expected. or it is not, although there is no error at the runtime, okay? There is no error in the runtime, it is building fine, it is running fine, but the intention of the program was something different, but you ran into something different. That is nothing but logical error. Getting it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Are these two things very clear in everybody's mind? What is syntax error? What is logical error? Are these two things very much clear in your mind? Okay, good. Then I can go ahead with some another, okay, I want to show it to you. Let me see if I can show it to you. Okay, now I am showing you here. There are two different types of, see this error, whatever this thing that you are seeing here, okay, error is getting thrown. Whenever you are doing something like this, you can see the error over here, right? In English terms, I can say that error is getting thrown here, right? Now, there is a predefined class in Java which is specifically meant for throwing these errors only, okay? A separate class is there simply for throwing this error. That class is known as Throwable class. Throwable class is a class which allows you to manage these kind of errors, okay? Now, again, I'm telling there are two different types of errors for sure. One type of error that you are getting, okay, those are syntax error, logical errors, okay? Another type of errors that you might get are known as exceptions, okay? CPTION, okay, exceptions. Now, also, exceptions can happen runtime also, they can happen compile time also. And just like error can be thrown, or you can see the error getting thrown, similarly, exceptions can also be thrown, and both the classes, error class itself and the exception class itself, both the classes, these are actual classes, huh? You can see this in lang package, you can see it. There is actually a separate class for, whenever you are free, try it, search it, java.lang.error. That describes all the errors, okay? Already a class is there for that. Same way in throwable class also. Throwable class is actually extended in error class and exception class. Just like you have error, no? Same way you also have exception. Same way you also have java.lang.exception, okay? I'm quoting the difference between both of them, but wait for this difference. Okay, just wait for both the differences. I'll show it to you, then I'll explain it to you what is error, what is exception. But both the classes are there in lang package itself, and both the classes, they are subclasses of the superclass known as throwable. Meaning the program can either throw error or it can throw exception. Be it at compile time, be it at runtime, but it can throw either error or it can throw exception. A program can throw only these two things. Apart from that, it can just show the output. That's all it can do, okay? It can take input, it can take output, but again, it can either show you error or it can either show you exception. Now, coming to this error initially, I am not opening this for now, okay? I'm opening this later on. I'm opening error first because we started with it first. I'm going to show you, these are syntax errors, okay? This what you're seeing is syntax error. I am going to show you few logical errors also. If you remember, what shall I explain to you? This, yes, if you remember recursion, okay? If you remember recursion, then you remember calling a function itself, right? There is nothing but known as recursion. Okay, now at that time also we have clearly I have mentioned that there is anchor condition that can make this function go infinitely. If the anchor condition or the hook condition is not there, then the function itself, it's calling itself constantly. This may happen to go, the program may terminate abruptly. Why I am telling the program may terminate abruptly or it cannot run properly? Because it's infinite calling, see. And whenever you are installing a software or whenever you are installing your JVM or any software that you are installing here in your PC, it is occupied some memory inside it, okay? Similarly, our runtime environment also, our JVM and GRE both are having some memory. Whenever you are running the program is loaded in that memory and then it is showing you the output. If I ran out of this memory, I am simply creating the object of test class, okay? And I am simply calling this function here. ob.fun. Now we automatically know here it is infinite recursion, right? At some point of time, your JVM will run out of memory, and the stack. If you remember, this people might also have faced this error. Okay, that whenever you are calling the function on function, infinite stacks are getting created over here. Why? Because function calls are always on the stack, right? And whenever the recursion is, I even given the terms while somebody is typing something. Yes, Dhruvi, please unmute yourself and talk to me. Don't just raise your hand, okay? Just talk to me. Yes, Dhruvi, you are saying something. Hello, Dhruvi? Dhruvi, you are asking something? Okay, fine. If you have questions, just unmute yourself and talk to me, okay? I'll pause. I'll pause on my own. Just let me know. Don't raise your hand. You can just unmute and talk to me, okay? Okay, yes, I was where. Yes, stack overflow error. Yes, this error I was showing it to you. It is nothing but a type of error. See, what I am telling is error. You are seeing one type of error over here. Okay, stack overflow error is one of the error that you are seeing here. Different types of errors are of course there. First, I am showing here is stack overflow error. This will come whenever the functions that you are calling. They're always winding up on stack. If you remember, I have shown it to you in Fibonacci also, in Pectoral also, whatever program that you are doing, any recursive program that the first call placed is over here, okay? Then whatever parameter on which you are calling this function, accordingly recursion will happen. No, one more call is placed for whatever argument that you are putting up, and the stack keeps on growing. And once the anchor condition is reached, currently the stack is winding itself up, meaning it is placing the calls on top of each other. Once the final anchor condition is reached, the calls are unbounded, and then you get the final output over here. Once you reach at the last point in the recursive stack. Stack is one of the application of stack is recursive calls itself, okay? If somebody is saying you give the practical implementation of stack, you can tell all the function calls are always pushed on to stack, and once the function call is done, it is done executing, the call is deleted or popped off from the stack. Okay, there is a push and pop function over here. We can always give this example. Now, the point I'm trying to convey here is that as it is infinite recursion over here, at some point of time, the memory is getting overflown. It is showing to you that stack is currently overflown, meaning there is no more memory for this function fun to get pushed on the stack. Right? Your JVM has run out of the memory here. It is one kind of error. Now tell me, if logically you are correct, can you solve this error? Unless and until you got a supercomputer in front of you, or you got a higher, bigger memory allocated to you, can you solve this problem? If you're logically you are correct, you are feeling that logically you are correct, there is no logical error over here. Can you solve this error? Tell me. Unless and until you expand your memory, unless and until you increase your memory size, can you solve this error? Yes. No, right? You are right actually. So the point I'm trying to convey here is that there are the errors, the difference between, before even showing you exception, I'm telling you the difference between exception and error is that, errors, you cannot, it is impossible to recover from error. But exceptions you will see later on, you can always recover from the exception. I'm going to show you this later on, but I'm discussing error right now. It is impossible to recover from the error part. You cannot recover back from it. You need some hardware solution to monitor to change this. And what is this error? Why are they caused? Errors are caused because of the environment or the device or the platform on which you are running your software, or the platform on which you are running your application or program. Errors are caused because of that. Okay, not talking about syntax error over here, not talking about logical also over here. I'm talking about, apart from these two errors also, these kind of errors which logically you think it is correct, but it is giving me device error over here. It is showing environment error over here. Third type of error is that, right? Errors which you cannot control on your own and which are caused by the environment on which you are running your application. Those are stack overflow error. One more error I'm showing you here is, let me show it to you, because of the device impossibility or because of the environment problem, because of the application on which you are running currently, the on which you're running currently, because of those things, errors are coming. Those are nothing but different category of simply known as errors itself. That's all. Okay, error itself. I'm showing it to you. Let me give the example of yes. I'll create the array of integers over here. Okay. You remember this integer class? Do you remember this class or not? Tell me. But what is this? Can you tell me what is this? Which kind of class is this?
Wrapper class.
Yes, correct, wrapper class. I am creating the array of wrapper class. Okay, I am creating the array of wrapper class. Simply, I am mentioning the size as 10, and there is no error over here. It is compiling fine. There is nothing, problematic over here. I am increasing the size of this array. Okay, it is impossible for me to write a certain size. Okay, after that, which this program is going to show me, it is too large for integer. See, one more thing you should be very careful of. Whatever size you are mentioning over here, it cannot be in that decimal. The size of the array cannot be adi, dod, sadatran, sadachar. No, the size of the array will always be a whole number. Meaning, it will always be of type integer. Be the array of type double, be the array be of class double, doesn't matter. The size of the array will always be of type integer. It cannot be in decimal or in double. Okay. Now I am giving here. I'm writing here a bigger value. Okay. I'm mentioning here a bigger value over here. It is running fine. Okay, fine. I'm mentioning more bigger value over here. I'm creating a bigger size of double array. See, it is showing me the out of memory error. Out of memory is again an error. It is showing me that objects are always created in heap. If you remember this, I've told you thousands of times. Objects are always created in heap memory only. Okay. Whenever your heap is running out of the space, it is showing that you are creating the object out of the heap. Means there is no such memory. There is no more memory for us. Again, it is type of error only, right? But again, it is not a logical error. I wanted to create a bigger array type of double, but with your programming language, with your environment, it is not possible. So this is kind of an error, right? Not logical. It is not logical. I should be able to create a bigger size of array, but it is environment's problem, platform's issue, right? So all these problems that are caused by the environment on which you are running your program, those kind of problems are known as errors. Now, are you getting the clear picture of error class? What does error class will have? Error class, your throwable, the biggest, the super class throwable is actually having two different classes. It is having errors, okay, and it is having exception. I'm coming to the exception in some point itself, some point of time I'm coming here, but error. What kind of different errors you will be facing? You can be facing syntax logical or different thing, okay. Apart from that, you can be facing out of memory error. You can be facing stack overflow error. Okay, these all are different types of errors. Some point of time, you will be also, encountering different types of errors, such as linkage error. You are not able to link runtime class. You are not able to link different types of errors. You will be facing at some point or the other time over here. But are you getting the clear picture of what is error first? Are you having any questions in errors first? Then I can move on to exception. Yes, are you having a clear picture of error? Okay. Anybody having even any simplest doubt, or you can always unmute yourself and talk to me. Okay. Okay, fine. Yes, good. Okay. Now I am coming to exception. Okay. The second part, okay, good. I'm coming to the second part, exception. Like I said before also, errors could be systems issue or platforms issue. So you see the differences, okay. I'm also at the same time, I'm also giving you the differences between, error versus, exception. I'm same time giving you both the topics here. I'm covering two topics over here. The first thing is, error is something that is caused by the environment in which you are running your application. First thing, okay. Second thing, it is impossible to recover from the error because it is a platform's issue. It is not your logical issue. It is platform's incapability of solving that problem. But exceptions, you can easily recover from exception. Okay, you can easily recover. How to do that? I'm going to show it to you. One more thing, exceptions are caused by your program itself. This is caused by the environment or platform on which your program is running, but exceptions are caused by your program itself. You are yourself creating certain scenarios in which your program may not perform expectedly, okay? Or the situations that may, again, I am pointing it out again, the situations that can come at compile time, also at runtime, okay? Certain situations will come during compile time, also during runtime, in which your program may not even compile, or if it is running fine, then your program may have the abnormal termination, or it may terminate abruptly, or it will not successfully finish till the end. Those kind of problems where your program is halting its execution at some point in between, maybe at runtime or maybe at compile time, those are known as exceptions. They are caused by your program itself. You are not handling the logic properly, where you are facing this question, that is exception. Okay. Now I am showing you the examples of exception. Okay, let me come to the environment. Okay, yes. I'll show the example of exception. Now, before showing you the types, let me just generally show the this only. Okay, now tell me this. I'm giving you this example. Okay. You all remember this string class, okay? And if you remember this class, then you must also know that there is a function length of string class, okay? Can you tell me what will this print for now? What will this length print? Can you tell me what will this length print here? Can you tell me that?
Length of the string.
Length of the string, right? Yes, you're right. I'm writing program is starting, okay? Program starts. Okay. Yes, length of the string is currently 6, so it is going to print here 6. Very easy, right? Program starts, program ends, printing is correctly good. Now, I am making this string as empty quotation. Okay, not even one space. This is one space, one character. Okay, not even one space I am writing. It is again a valid string, right? It is obviously a valid string, right? But there is no characters inside it, so the length of the string is currently 0. Okay. If I make this string null, now I again print the length of the string. What do you think? What will happen? Can you tell me?
Ma'am, by giving null, there is no memory allocated to string.
Yes,
so it
correct.
won't print anything.
Yes, it won't print anything. You are right here. When I run this file, it is showing me now the exception. See the exception. Without the exception, the JVM is so much. It is giving you correct information. Okay, it is very precise in giving the information over here. See, it is showing that there is a null pointer exception. You are pointing to a null block of memory and you want to find its length. It is not possible for me to show it to you. Okay, so it is showing me this exception. Now you see, is the program finished till line number 21? Is it finished? Do you see all the output here? Is it running properly? Tell me. Or has it terminated abruptly here?
It is not working properly.
Yes, it is starting properly, but as soon as it encounters this point, it is showing me this error that it is at this line number I am facing the problem. It is also showing me line number along with the description of the exception here, and the rest of the statements of the program are not even seen, not even touched, right? From this point itself, the program ran into some exception and it is terminated, but abruptly. It has not finished execution of the program completely yet. Okay, keep these things in mind. Okay, why I'm telling you this is, whenever exception is going to occur, always the program will terminate abruptly or always, right? In errors, what is going to happen? It is running fine, but at runtime, what is happening? You are seeing, oh, it is running out of the memory. Means my JVM is having the issue. It is not my issue. But here again, I am accessing an empty block of memory which is qualified as declared as null. How can I access its length? Okay, it is again the application's error, not the virtual machine's error. Keep these things very clear in your mind. Okay, it is application or programmer's mistake is there over here, or the program is not working fine. The program mistake is there for which you are getting the exception. And whenever the exception will occur, automatically rest of all these statements, even if you had 1,000 number of statements over here, all these statements will not be executed. It runs into abnormal termination of the program and it skips all these statements directly, right? From that point itself, it skips all the statement and None of the statements are even touched. It is exception. Are you seeing the exception now? I am going to show you one more exception. Let me show it to you. This is null pointer exception. Okay, just remember the name. Null pointer, very easy. When you are pointing to a null block of memory, it is showing you this error. Now, this everybody has experienced this thing. Okay, I am showing this to you. Or you are printing in a for loop. Okay, simply say for example, you are printing the values. The task is to print all the this records of this array. That is your task. Okay, I am simply printing P of I. Right. When I run this file, according to me, it is fine. It has to run till length. But I should take care. No, it is starting with 0. Array index always starts with 0. Then there is no fourth element. There is no third element. Actually, indexically speaking, there is no third element. I is increasing till 3, but there is no third element over here. So it is showing me that your array, read out the words very carefully, and it is always following the camel case sensitivity. So every single word is going to start with the first capital letter always. Array index out of bound. You are accessing the array whose bound doesn't exist. You are accessing the value whose index is not there over here in the array. It is showing me this kind of exception. Again, after this exception, even if I had 1,000 number of lines written over here, it is still going to show you. It is not going to run those line. Terminating directly from this one itself, from line number 21 itself, your program has gone into exception. Are you getting a clear picture of what is an exception and what is an error? Are you getting a clear picture of these two things? Yes, you are right, Rishabh. The program terminates abruptly. You are right. Okay. Are you getting a clear picture of what is an exception? It always happens with your program. Okay. It is a programmer's point of mistake over there. Programmer has to take care of the exception. That is the first thing. Second thing, it is always possible to recover from the exception. It is caused by the application, and exceptions can happen compile time and runtime both the time. But again, I'm quoting one more difference here between error and exception. One more difference I'm telling you. Third point is error will always occur runtime, but exception can happen compile time also and runtime also. We have only seen 2 examples of runtime exception. Now I'm showing you the example of compile time exception. Okay. I am telling that keep your mind open today, very open, keep it open. If you have questions, you can shoot, of course, but just hear me very carefully. Errors can always happen runtime. You have seen it. You have seen it already. Syntax errors, compile time, of course, okay. But all the errors like out of memory or this, stack overflow error, you're running out of the memory. All those errors will always occur runtime, but your exception will always occur compile time. Along with that, it can also occur runtime. Third difference between both of them. This what you have seen is runtime error, right? What you have seen so far, when the program is compiling fine, you are running it, that time you are facing the problems. Now I am showing you the compile time error. What example shall I give it to you? I'm thinking. Okay, yes, you will even do this in the next minutes. Also, you are going to do this. If you know, you can easily read files in Java. Okay, I'm simply file reader is an inbuilt class. Okay, here it is there in the IO package. I am importing it here. Yes, I'm importing here. You will be using it in the next unit. You are going to use it, of course. Just see what I'm doing here. It is in the input output package. I am trying to read a file. Okay, I am creating the object of file reader. And what we usually do is, for reading a file, we always create the object of this file reader class, and we write here the name of the file. Okay, so which file do you want to read? No, you write here the name of the file. I am mentioning that I want to read a text file named as a.txt. Okay, it is, I want to read this file. I want to read the content of this file. Now see, it is showing me before even, okay, I am simply writing here without, reading the file also. I am simply telling that my program is starting here. Okay, and here I am simply printing that my program is ending here. Okay, it is showing me compile time error. See, it is telling that, you see, read out there are words. Okay, it is very clearly mentioned here that file not found exception. What does that mean? That it may happen that this file which you want to read, it may or may not be present. Okay, so you must write a mechanism for reading this file. If it is not present, then what should I do? That it is asking from me only. It is asking the programmer itself that if the file is not present, then what should I do? That you need to manage it. You need to handle this thing, okay? So what will happen is this kind of exceptions are known as compile time exception, which won't even allow your program to compile. So it is not compiling fine, okay? It is not compiling fine. It is still showing me the error because I haven't mentioned the mechanism. If the file is not there, then what should I do? That I haven't mentioned over here. Same thing will happen whenever you want to establish a database connection. This also you will see, okay? In your future advanced Java, you will see this. Whenever you want to establish a database connection, what if the table which you are looking for is not there? Or a whole database is not there. You are trying to access, you are trying to connect a database which is not present at all. Those kind of situations also, this kind of error will occur. And everything will occur at compile time only, right? Because it is asking you to solve it right away. See, it is not running the file. So exceptions can occur, hear my words very carefully. Exceptions can occur compile time also. Exceptions can occur runtime also, okay? Now, I am showing you one term here. The exceptions which are always occurring runtime, which you cannot check during compile time. Just look at my words, you'll hear it or you'll grasp it automatically. The exceptions which are happening at runtime, which you don't have any control over, okay? Like the array index out of bound, okay? Like the null pointer exception that you have seen. I'll list out more over there, I'll give you more example for sure. But for these two, where you don't have any control of the program, at runtime something is happening, those kind of exceptions which you cannot check beforehand are known as unchecked exceptions, okay? Unchecked exception means runtime exception, which you cannot check. You can only check it at runtime. You cannot check it compile time, okay? And the exceptions that are happening at compile time, which you can check here itself, okay? Which you can check here itself. See, I can check it. Okay, it is not running. It is still showing me the error. It means it is unchecked. It is currently checked exception. Meaning which you can check, but before you compile itself, it is going to show it to you, are known as checked exceptions, okay? And checked exceptions needed to be solved before you run your program. So it is showing me the error, yet I have not solved the error, right? It is still showing me the error. Unless and until I don't solve it, it is not going to run the program. In other words, it is not going to generate the class file, okay? So checked exceptions must be cleared out before you run your program. Are you getting the picture clear in your mind? Are you getting these things? Which are the different types of exceptions? If somebody asks you, there could be checked exception, there could be unchecked exception. Okay, good. What do you mean by checked? Checked exceptions are the exceptions which you can check directly at compile time. If errors are there, you need to solve it before you run your program. Okay, unless and until you don't solve the error, they're not going to allow you to run your program. That is a checked exception. And unchecked are the ones which you are getting at runtime. Okay, and runtime exceptions are usually ignored at the type of compilation. Did you see this? All these runtime exception. Okay, I'm creating one small method just to show both the things together. Okay, if I'm simply doing the same thing here, okay, I'm creating null string over here, and I'm simply trying to access some character. Okay, character at, say for example 5. This is unchecked, and these are not even resolved at compile time. Okay, these are not resolved at compile time, but this must be resolved during compile time only. Unchecked exception, checked exception. And the difference is very much clear in your mind. The exceptions that are checked by the compiler at compile time itself are known as checked ones, and you cannot ignore them. The programmer should provide some mechanism for handling these exceptions. First thing in checked. In unchecked, they are known as runtime because these exceptions can occur at runtime only, and runtime exceptions are ignored by the compiler at the compile time. The compiler would not even see this at the compile time. It will only go into show sheet series at the runtime only. Okay, these two things are very much clear in your mind, right? Anybody having any questions so far? Even if you have a simplest question, just tell me. I'll help you out with that. No questions? Are you following me or not? Are you getting this thing? Am I going too fast? Just tell me to stop, pause, Divya. If you are not understanding Smriti, just tell me once. Okay. Bhanushali, are you getting this? Panjwani, Saif Ali, Samir Alam, are you getting this? Paramar. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, fine, no problem. Then it is what, see, if you're getting in it, then the time, my time is worth it. Otherwise, there's no point. Yes, good, okay. Okay, fine. Now what I want to show it to you. Okay, well, few more I'll show it to you. Few more I want to show it to you. This, this one. This is nothing but, the file not found exception. Okay. One more, okay. This I can show. This one is done, no? Okay. One more I can show in this unchecked one. In unchecked one, I'm showing you one more, okay? In unchecked, I'm showing you one more. Can you tell me, can you divide a number by 0? Can you divide a number by 0?
No, ma'am.
No, wait. See, if I'm writing here A divided by B, okay, I'm mentioning here that the program is starting. Okay. Okay, I'm dividing A by B. I'm simply doing 10 divided by 0. As it is not possible, it is not showing any error here itself in the compile time. But at runtime exception, it is showing me that arithmetic exception is happening here. It is mentioning very specifically, see, divide by 0 is there. Meaning you are having the problem with this point at this line, you just go and solve it and then your program is going to run fine. Right, again, one more example of runtime exception is this one. One more I'll show it to you. One more I want to show it to you. If I am qualifying the size of the array as negative, right? See, array size in Python, it is possible, I guess. Negative index is there in Python, right? You can access a variable with negative indexing. So negative index is there, but negative size, again, it is not possible, I guess. In Java also, negative size of the array is not possible. Still, I am giving it. It is going to show me the runtime exception only. Say, negative array size exception. You cannot give an array size as negative. Again, it is nothing but it is runtime exception only, not compile time, which is unchecked exception. Now, what is happening here? Why every time it is showing to me like this? What is happening in the back end? Why it is terminating the program? So many questions you must be having, right? If not, then trigger these questions in your mind. If it is happening like this, then what is happening to the rest of the program? And why it is very precise? See, it is very much precise over here, right? It is showing to me that it is correctly, giving this line number, everything is happening. What is happening here is that whenever, just hear my words very carefully, how this JVM is managing this. And yes, one more question everybody should have. You should have this question. If there are lots of such exceptions, okay, why the JVM or why the Java people didn't thought of managing it before and itself? If you could manage it before and you create the class itself, wouldn't it be graceful? It could gracefully handle the errors, right? You don't have to worry about these things. Why it is like that? Why so many exceptions are there? And why there is no mechanism for handling it? Why you have to handle it? Why runtime exceptions are always terminating like this? And if you don't want to terminate this, then what should we do? All these questions should be there in your mind. If not, I'm triggering these questions and answers you'll be getting it by the next plot, not today. You'll be getting these answers by the next plot only, not today. But I'm giving you one answer over here. How does this JVM is handling this exception? How it is showing this precise error? So what happens is, whenever the exception is occurring, the method, this is a method, right? Void main is a method. In its body, this exception is occurring, okay? This method, this void main method, see, if you remember, I've told you before also, a class can have variable, it can have constructors, and it can have functions. Apart from this, in the body of class, there cannot be any statements apart from, of course, the static block that we have seen initially, okay? Static blocks can be there, of course. But apart from these four things, there cannot be anything else, lazily lying in the bracket of the class. You cannot lie anything in the class. Either you can create variable, okay, create it if you want. Either you can have a constructor, okay, if you want, you can obviously make it. Either you can have a function, okay. Either you can have a function or you can have a static block. Apart from this, a class will never have anything. Okay, a class's body will never consist of even calling of the statements. If you want to call a function, call it in a function. A function can be called inside a function for sure. From here also, if you want to call, you can call your main function like this. You can definitely call. We've even seen this. Or you can, if you want to call your SOP-LN statement, okay. If you want to call your SOP-LN statement, see there is no suggestion over here. You see this. I cannot write system.out.println here. It is calling a function, okay. This statement cannot be written here. This statement belongs to a function or to a static block or to a constructor, but there cannot be a lazy lying statement inside a class, right? Because it is a call to a function println by the out object of the system class that we have seen in the last class, but you cannot write the statements without a function, okay? A class can have only these things, mind well. You cannot write different statements like this in a class. Okay, there is one thing. The point that I wanted to convey is, what was the point? Where is the point? Okay, yes, the point I wanted to convey was this. You can, so whenever you are calling this function, okay, say for example, you are calling this function fun, okay, then you'll be creating the object of class test and you'll be creating this function fun. Good for you, you're calling a function properly. Why I am telling you this is, always a function or a scope like this in which the statements can lie, in which a statement can reside. Those statements may or may not have exceptions, okay. There could be certain statements that may have exception. There could be different type of statements are there, okay. There are simple statements where the exceptions are not happening, and there are critical statements which are prone to errors where the exception can occur. If you are simply giving the value to a variable, simple statement, yeah, the exception handling mechanism is not required over here. But whenever you are creating the array with negative sides, it is a critical statement where the exception handling is required over here, right? So there could be simple statement, there could be critical statement. Any statement in the programming world in Java will always rely within a method or within a block, a scope, okay? Now, coming to the main point, whenever this scope or in whichever method this exception is occurring, this method will automatically, now I'm coming to this point, okay? I'm coming to throwable class. I'm coming to throwable class here, okay? Throwable class which is there over here, it is having two classes, exception and error. Both the classes are extendable by throwable, meaning error is a subclass for throwable, exception is again a subclass for throwable. Now, whichever function is having this error, exception, not error, exception, that method will create the object of that exception class, okay? Will create the object of that exception class. If I am catching, if the error is over here, negative array size exception, then the object of this class, negative array size exception, is created by your function or this scope, and this object is thrown to, it is handed over to, it is passed on to, or in the simple exception terms only, it is thrown to your runtime system. It is thrown to your JVM, okay? And then what is thrown along with this object? What is thrown along with this object? Along with the object of this class on which line number the exception has occurred, the description of this exception, okay? If you remember the divided by zero exception, this one, arithmetic exception, was very precise. It is showing you that you are having division by zero error method, okay? And that is happening over here. Along with the object, what other things are coming? The name of the class, the description of this exception, and the line number from which the termination of the program has happened. All these things are thrown to your JVM, and this is simply your JVM printing this message. Whatever it has received from this method, void main. If the same thing were to happen from your function fun, the same thing, the fun class, this fun function is going to throw this object of exception class, okay? Now mind well, all the exception classes all the exceptions that you have seen so far. What you have seen so far, okay, you have seen this this negative array size, okay, that you have seen. Mind my spelling over here, please. You have seen this null pointer exception, okay. You have seen arithmetic exception, okay. You have seen array index out of bound, okay. All these exceptions are again the subclass of the superclass exception, meaning your exception is extended in all these classes, okay. And exception itself is the subclass of throwable class. Are you getting the hierarchy now? Is the hierarchy getting clear in your mind? Throwable is going to have two different bachas. It is having two. It is a parent of two different classes, error and exception both. Okay, error and exception both. All these exceptions that you have heard so far in today's session, all these exceptions are subclasses of superclass exception. And again, the out of memory error. Okay, it is again the subclass only of error class. Okay. Same thing here also. Out of memory was there, then stack overflow was there, right? All these errors that we have seen, again, both the errors are subclass of error class. And this, whenever your function is encountering any such problems in runtime, be it compile time, be it runtime, okay? Specifically, whenever it is runtime, I'm not talking about compile time yet, okay? File editor that you have seen, keep it in your pocket. We're going to explore it in the next class, not today. But this all these runtime exceptions, all these unchecked ones that I'm telling you about, unchecked ones, what is happening? Whatever is the object that, whatever is the error, whatever is the function, or in other words, whatever is the scope in which this error is occurring, this scope is going to create the object of that class and throw it to the JVM, and JVM is simply giving you the message that these things have happened. And the rest of the program is terminated. Because why it is terminated? Why it is like that? Because whenever the control of this program is going to your JVM, the rest of the program is automatically skipped. Your program is abnormally terminated because the control of the program is with your JVM, and JVM has stopped execution by simply printing the messages. The control is thrown to your JVM. The control is never coming back to your program. If the control of the program is coming back to your program here in your void main, then and then only the rest of the code can execute properly, but the rest of the codes, the statements are skipped. Even if you have 1,000 statements over here, it is not executed. Why? The object is thrown to your JVM, and JVM is simply printing the message and not throwing control back to your function. Are you getting these things that I'm telling you here? What is happening when the exception is arising? What happens in the backend when the exception is arising? The object of exception class is created by whichever function in which the body, the exception is occurring, no. In whichever class, in whichever function the exception is occurring, no. That function itself creates the object of that class and throws it to the JVM, and then JVM handles it. It is not handled by you, mind well. You are not handling it. We are going to see the methods of how to handle this on your own, of course, because you have to provide a solution for this. But again, it is currently handled by the JVM, and how heavy JVM is handling it, and is simply showing it to you, the name of the exception class very precisely, ArrayIndexOutOfBoundsException. This is the only exception that is happening over here, okay? Along with the line number and the description, okay, this is the exception. That is what it is showing it to you. Nothing else is being done by the JVM for now, but if we want to continue the program, if we want to have the normal execution, even if the exception is occurring, then what should we do? That we're going to see it in the next class. But any questions for today's session? Throwable is the class that is no, sorry, my internet was off. Yes, throwable is a class, it is not an interface. If you have any questions, you can tell me now only. So far today, what we have seen is, we have seen what is error, what is syntax error, what is logical error, what is error class and what different type of errors it is what different type of errors it is having. Apart from that, what we have seen exceptions. Different types of exceptions are there, checked and unchecked, both what is runtime, what is compile time exception. These things we have seen. Do you have any questions in this? Yes, anybody is having any questions? Okay, good. If you are not having any questions, you can leave the session. I will mark your present absent, don't worry. You go for the next class is already there. You don't have break in between. Good. If you have questions, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave. We are going to continue from this point onwards in the next class. No need to mention the attendance. I'll put it. Don't worry, Priya. No need to mention enrollment number here also. Please leave. I'll put your attendance. Don't worry. You all can leave the session. If you have questions, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave. No problem, Rishabh. No need to mention the attendance. I'll put it according to, I've already seen you all. No need to put your attendance here. Don't worry. Oh, Panjwani, I just saw your message now.
Yes, मैम राउटर का बोला नीचे वार्डन के पास ही गए थे.
Oh, okay.
फोन का इंटरनेट भी खत्म हो गया था तो फिर.
Oh, अच्छा. Now it is working fine.
बस मैं लैपटॉप थोड़ा हटा लूंगा ना फिर से चला जाएगा नेट.
अच्छा.
एकदम एक पॉइंट पे है वाईफाई के.
Oh, बाप रे. अच्छा, ठीक है.
Yes.
No problem. No problem. You all can leave the session. I have another class. You all can leave.
Yes, please.
Madam, did you